Do this. So hello and welcome to ASB TDC TV, a product of a partnership between the University of Arkansas Small Business Technology and Development Center and the Northwest Arkansas Council Small Business Emergency Assistance Program. In this series, we are talking with small businesses, experts, and ASB TDC consultants about the relevant and right now topics and solutions for small business. I'm Amy Robinson.
Hi, I'm Chris Case, and we're going to start actually with you, Miss Mary Beth. Would you tell us just a little bit about yourself and ASB TDC?
Sure. So my name is Mary Beth Brooks, and I'm the director of the University of Arkansas's Small Business and Technology Development Center. So at the center, what we do is we help businesses, typically, I should say, prior to COVID-19, we help businesses get started with everything from financials and market research and business planning, all the way through to helping existing businesses grow. We also assist folks in buying and selling businesses, which has been a really big part of what we've been doing prior to any of this virus. During the virus, on the other hand, what we've really been working with is folks just trying to get disaster relief, disaster funding, and assisting businesses with every kind of loan, as well as HR type issues and helping people weather the storm through this pandemic. As for me, I was a banker for 30 years, and then I tried to retire, and that didn't go so well. So this is what I've been doing, which is it's just so much fun helping businesses every day.
Absolutely. So Mary Beth, tell us a little bit about what the task force that you assembled has been doing, and specifically the financial opportunities and everything from grants to loans that have come available in the past several months that you've seen clients be able to take advantage of.
So we partnered with the Northwest Arkansas Council, just trying to have more boots on the ground, I guess I should say, to help businesses to weather through this pandemic. And I just got some combination of good friends and people who I knew really well in the business world to
your dream team.
Assemble a quick dream team, and we did it very quickly, I must say. In a matter of a week, assembled a big team to where we could then just have experts in different areas. So that's what I think has also been really good, is we have some folks who are exceptional at the finance piece, some who are exceptional at the management and the change management, others who are great at the human resources side, because that was never my strength. And a lot of folks, businesses needed that information during this time. So we were able to assemble a team to where we could answer as many questions as possible during this virus. But what we've been able to help with as far as on financing for people is everything from we spent a lot of time just trying to help people understand what grants there are available from the AEDC, the Governor's Ready for Business Grant Program, to the PPP loans, to EIDL, disaster loans, and I think we're going to go into a little more detail on that. And we're constantly just notifying people of, hey, make sure to apply for this grant. You know, you have 30 minutes to get your application in, just to try to help people get money as much as possible, so that they can be armed and ready to go for their business to start again.
Which literally happened with the Ready for Business grant, the 30-minute window.
Yes, it did. It did.
Fantastic. Well, I think that of the experts that you're talking about, we will introduce Eddie Andrus. Eddie, you have joined the team as our financial guru, and very specifically have helped guide this team through PPP. So give us a little bit about your background and kind of what you're seeing as a boot on the ground.
Well, thanks, Amy. So I'm changing my business card to say financial guru. I feel like I need to wear a Swami hat or something. No, thanks, Amy and Chris. I've been in retail for the last 25 years of my career, primarily in finance and strategy roles. But the last 5 years, I've been consulting with various small businesses. Right after COVID hit, Mary Beth called me a few days later and said, hey, you want to come help out some businesses in Northwest Arkansas? And as a 12-year resident of Bentonville, I was happy to step in and help. And anytime you're dealing with complex things, as we've learned about the PPP and EIDL, I understand it's overwhelming for a lot of folks, so it's something I like to do. I like details, and I know most people don't. So, hey, I'm here to help.
That's awesome.
Well, Mary Beth, let's jump to you because I know a lot of things have changed almost daily, it seems like. So what's the latest? What can you share?
Well, I'm not sure. Do you want me to talk about the PPP or the EIDL, or what sounds good to you?
I think all the above.
Okay. And Eddie, jump in and help me out anytime you hear me say anything or misspeak or if I forget something. But truly, when Chris said changing every day, I mean, that is actually what was going on, has been going on. So initially it was EIDL loans and PPP loans. Then the EIDL loans closed down. The EIDL loans are directly through the SBA. And so we help folks to apply for those, and the funds come directly from the SBA. Those then closed down for several weeks and were only open to agriculture businesses, but they have just recently opened back up on the 15th of June. So now we have more clients who didn't get it the first time who are now seeking the EIDLs. Most of those clients are getting, they can get an advance up to $10,000 based on their number of employees. And they also, on the full EIDL loan, it's a great rate, 3.75% fixed for 30 years. And these are working capital loans. So varied business uses for folks, but I mean, they are a really good solution for so many of our clients. And on PPP, those rules have changed and continue to evolve. The last date anybody can apply for a PPP loan through their bank is on June 30, and the PPP forgiveness application has now come out that continues to be revised as well, and the forgiveness dates have changed that we can go into a whole lot of a long 45-minute long one of these if we want. You can see some of our other work that we've done, but we can help you through those forgiveness applications as well. But all the PPP forgiveness will be handled through your bank.
Yes. So the instruments are the Economic Impact Disaster Loan, which is a loan. And then the PPP is the Payment Protection Program. And so maybe Eddie and Mary Beth, tell us a little bit about how those interact, because that is one place I know point of confusion is what you can and can't do with each of them. And then Eddie, if you'll talk a little bit about this forgiveness phase that we have launched into, and I'll note that the PPP, there are still funds available in that, and that has been, and in addition to the rules changing, that has is also a point of confusion, I think, people knowing that that's still available. So yeah, so what is the interaction between those two instruments and points of confusion?
Well, the PPP loan, in its name, right, is designed to protect the paycheck, right? So that was explicitly designed by the SBA to benefit those that were not able to go to work because work wasn't available because of the pandemic. It was to keep them off unemployment and keep them being paid by their company. And that's the primary portion of it. When the initial rules came out, it was 75% of that loan was meant to be spent on payroll. It's been revised down to 60%. Other appropriate uses of funds would include rent or mortgage interest payments, as well as utilities, anything that essentially that you had to keep paying for as a business, but you couldn't because you were bringing in no revenue. But again, the heart and soul of the PPP was payroll. Particularly for businesses that had to let people go or furlough them for a time period while they were shut down. So there's been a lot of changes. In fact, only the government could come up with the words interim final rule. And by the way, we're on interim final rule number 10. And you know it's bad when they refer to versions 8 and 3, and then you have to read all of those things. It's reading legalese, which isn't fun even for someone like me. But I would tell you that here's the heart and soul of the PPP on the forgiveness side. The SBA wants to forgive this loan. For those of you that already have a PPP loan, you know that was calculated based on 2.5 times your average monthly salary. Originally, you were supposed to use those funds over an 8-week period, a 2-month period. But now that's been extended to 24 weeks. And hopefully you can spend that money appropriately in that extended time period. some of the big issues that folks have is that they've either had to reduce the wages of their employees, or they've had to reduce their hours. And the extended time frame allows businesses the chance to bring them back up to the average, and the key date there is February 15th. That's February 15th is kind of the day that the SBA said is pre and post COVID. That's a big day. They decided to make things more complicated by looking at various time periods, like what was your average between January 1st of this year and March 31st of this year. And then those are some technicalities that we can help you through, but February 15th is really the big day. You want to get back to what you were paying people, how many people you were paying on February 15th by the end of your PPP covered period, which is 24 weeks long. How about that? Is that, Mary Beth, does that make sense to you?
Makes sense. The only thing I would add is when Amy asked about the relationship between the EIDL loan and the PPP program, people want to make sure. There were some really questions at first. I think we all were wondering, but yes, you can have both. You can get both the advance as well as the full PPP loan, or you can get the advance and the full EIDL loan as well as the PPP loan. The key is just not spending the same money on or spending money from each one of those programs on the same thing. So if a business can look at it and say, I closed my loan, my PPP loan on April 15th, and therefore the end of my original 56 days was going to be a June 10 or June 9, then and say that they were going to spend all of their money on April, May, June salaries and on May and June rent, then the EIDL loan could then kick in and pay July, August, September salaries and the same kind of months for rent. So just make sure that there's clear documentation that you're not spending loan money from two different programs on the same things. So it's just going to require a lot of documentation. The other thing I wanted to note is a lot of folks got the EIDL advances. So a couple of questions have constantly been looming out there. If a business got the EIDL advance and they didn't get the full loan, and they also didn't get the PPP loan, then that EIDL advance is fully forgivable. If they got the EIDL advance and also got a PPP loan, then that, say the company got $9,000 because they had 9 employees, then that $9,000 will just be withheld from their forgiveness.
In the PPP loan. Okay,
Yes.
So what I heard was don't spend the same money on the same things at the same time. That all of those instruments are.
I know that sounds crazy, but I'm hoping that if somebody's listening and they could go through and just think about, here's how I'm spending my PPP money, and then I want to make sure I can spend my idle money on the same kind of things, but just not the same time frame. So it's just really important to keep that documentation.
Excellent.
That is helpful.
Very.
You know, the PPP loan was really meant to be spent first. So consider it like your first 24 weeks or however long it lasts. That's meant to be forgiven. So in most cases like that, it's going to be forgiven. If it's not, it's a 1% interest rate. Depending on when you got the loan, it's either a 2-year, I think it's prior to June 5th. After June 5th, if you get a PPP loan, it's 5-year maturity at 1%. And that's it only if you don't get it forgiven. The EIDL loans for for-profit companies, the terms are excellent, frankly. It's a 30-year maturity at 3.75% interest. That's fairly
And
cheap.
fixed for 30 years. Where else? Exactly.
Yeah. Mary Beth, the former banker, would never lend that to anyone.
Absolutely not.
It's a great clarification.
Great.
Well, I think that we're coming to the end of our time. So I'm just, here she is.
Yeah, there I am. But I know that you wanted to wrap this up with asking Mary Beth about more of what she is heading up.
What more I'm heading up, and what do you mean?
Like, what are you doing for other businesses? I mean,
oh my goodness. So we are right now, it's just been a mixed bag. And it's, you can imagine in the first few weeks, it was a tremendous number of all disaster loans and how do we make it through, and a tremendous number of questions for our HR expert on how, managing pandemic unemployment versus when do I put people on unemployment and those kind of things. So now I feel like what we're really helping people with is how we are moving toward the next phase, which is reopening. We have specific forums for our restaurants and for retail shops to help them in those reopening processes. And that's where, like Chris, who's on here, comes in handy on the change management piece, because a lot of things change for medical offices that have closed for 7 and 8 weeks, and for restaurants who have closed. How do you get back that family feel when you reopen your business? And so all of us are kind of helping in different areas. So we really are here to help. At the same time, it's pretty exciting because we actually have several new businesses who have reached out and who are going to open new businesses based on some of this virus. And it's really interesting. So there's still a lot of people churning with some new ideas and new concepts. But it's also been really fun to watch those good tried and true businesses just shift and change gears to come up with their new game plan.
Absolutely.
Because I know there's been a lot of scary times, but there are some good things going on out there too. So it's just really nice to be reminded of that.
Well, and I think what we're all here to do too is just help. I mean, sometimes it's a shoulder to cry on, but a lot of times it's just how we can help people navigate and figure out that next step.
That's exactly right, and the perfect note to end on, because in addition to those forums, ASB TDC TV is meant to be a soundbite for people to share, because in these forums we are having these very specific conversations, and we are meeting all kinds of amazing people, businesses with great stories, experts with good advice. And so I just want to end by thanking you all for joining us. If you have a suggested topic, a question that you need answered, someone that you'd like to hear from, or a story you'd like to share, please contact us at bizhelp, that's BUSHELP @uark.edu, and put TV in the subject line. If you are interested in benefiting from our free one-on-one consulting assistance, please sign up at asbtdc.org. All of the information is here, sbtdc.uark.edu. So thank you all for joining us, and thank you all for being here, and we'll see you all next time.
Great to join you. Thanks.